Possibly quite surprised, but definitely hurt.
He's ripped a few calluses off his hand. There's no points for looking cool in the Nicol Stones.
Well, I'm trying to work out if he looks more like a zombie or an android.
It's not pleasant, I tell you. He's done it. Come on, another metre or so.
Will Andy Black get his record back?
Almost at the world record again.
Well, this is incredible.
Our first event is going to be the Nicol Stones tonight. These enormous lumps of granite where the metal rings stuck in them have to be lifted up and carried down this 20-metre course and back again if you can. You're allowed to drop them once and once only, and then you get a 10-second count, and then you get another go. Now, Darren, first of all, what's the weight of these?
Well, that's the hard thing, because one's 114 kilos and one's 138. So it's unbalanced, which makes the whole thing more complicated. The rings instead of handles that the guys are used to, so the fingers tend to ball up. It's very difficult. You'll see a lot of these things swinging around and awkwardness, but it's pretty cool to watch.
Yes, indeed. And the world record in this is held by a Scotsman. Scotland's strongest man, Andy Black, has done just over 21 metres. Let's see if anyone can try and contest that tonight.
So Kevin Ferris is up now, the American. He has not done this event before. It's going to take some getting used to.
Well, when you consider he's just about the weight of one of these stones, realise how heavy they are and the thinness of the handles. I mean, they're like almost cheese wires. They really dig into your fingers. A bit like a shopping bag. They really hurt after a while.
You really don't want these clashing against your knees either. Well, he's made it 10 metres for a first go. This isn't bad.
Really good. He's employing quite a clever technique. He's trying to push his legs out a bit against the stones rather than allowing them to swing in and hit him.
Bearing down on 20 metres. No real signs of slowing.
Very uncomfortable looking. 10-second count now. Darren Sadler begins the count, the referee. He only allowed one drop. So this is it. He's got to get it up again.
It does. Now, the awkward turn.
That's the horrible bit. Almost at the world record again.
Well, this is incredible. Well, that's 22.2 metres, and that is a new world record on his first ever go. Poor Andy Black. Just seen his record stolen from him.
I think he was worried about Evan Singleton. He sees off Singleton, and now Kevin Ferris out of nowhere comes through over 22 metres. Big Tom up next. Must be feeling the atmosphere here in Scotland.
Absolutely, looking to impress in front of his home crowd. Those very long arms. Of course, gave him the nickname the Albatross.
Also gives him massive hands, though. And those rings just aren't that big. His fingers must be a little bit crushed in there. Well, this is it's not exactly a moonwalk, but it's quite a sensible walk. He's trying to get them under control before he starts to accelerate. Definitely not. There's no points for looking cool in the Nicol Stones.
Well, I'm trying to work out if he looks more like a zombie or an android.
It's not pleasant, I tell you. Got to keep the pressure on the stones with your knees pushing outwards.
He's just got that determination, but it's starting to go. So 10 seconds, as you say, to pick the Nicol Stones up again.
You're allowed to move the one behind just a little bit closer, but the one in front has to stay where it is. Off he goes again then. This is his final pickup. Slightly bent arms on the left-hand side. He's got to try and relax. No, he goes.
17 metres dead for Tom Stoltman, puts him in third place currently.
Interesting there, he's doing a hook grip. He's actually crushing his thumb underneath his fingers to try and add to the grip strength. Very painful thing to do.
On to big brother Luke now, the newly crowned Europe's strongest man. Once held the world record in this event. Does he want it back?
Yeah, he held it for a long, long time. Did it at a Highland Games. And now these are getting more international notoriety. It's stolen often by Andy Black, but his chance in front of what a crowd. I mean, thousands of Scots have turned up to see, in particular, the Strongman brothers. Luke will not want to disappoint. Comes from Invergordon up in the Highlands.
Taking bigger steps than his little brother. Last 10 metres now.
And both of them are just pulling up, trying to get it above their knees. That must be tactical.
Well, it feels like that will be his one and only drop.
Well, these Nicol Stones are not a million miles away from Aberdeen. There's the famous Donald Dinny Stones, of course.
Oh. Well, that's one technique. But just pulled forward by those incredibly heavy stones. Luke Stoltman manages 17.56, so improves on his little brother by about half a metre.
Not only are you getting more exhausted all the time, it's you get goofier, and it's so difficult, that second pickup. You want to try and get as much distance as possible, but you overstride, and it's a killer.
Well, Scotland's strongest man then, Andy Black, who until just a few minutes ago had the world record in the Nicol Stones.
This guy's just an absolute strength sensation. He was 2.5 years ago. He was working, I believe, as a plumber in Cumbernauld, a pipe fitter to be exact, and suddenly he decided he had a dad bod, as his daughter described it. So he went to the gym for the first time ever, and aged about 30, walked in, and everyone just jaws dropped as he started lifting weights. They couldn't believe what he could do, and no one believed he hadn't been to the gym before. Here he is, 2.5 years later.
Just a natural strong man.
Oh, an absolute brute of a guy. He is Scotland's strongest man, let's not forget. I think the Glaswegians are going to get behind him soon. He's starting to get towards that 20-metre line. And it's just over 22 metres, this new world record.
Was that out of necessity?
I'm sure he would have liked to have got to the line, then dropped them. Then he could have turned round and picked them up nicely. That would have been the way to do it, really. Now he's got this dreaded turn while they're in his hands. He's done it. Come on, another metre or so.
Will Andy Black get his record back? 21.86, no. Second place. And Kevin Ferris. Possibly quite surprised, but definitely hurt.
Oh, he's ripped a few calluses off his hand, but that won't bother him now.
Kevin, that was an unbelievable performance. A new world record. Were you expecting that?
I wasn't expecting it, just based on the guys that are here. I mean, Andy Black, he broke it twice, you know, and Luke gave me a run too. So, yeah, it's surprising, but I'm happy with it.
What makes it so difficult? Is it the fact that it's an irregular shape? Is it the fact they're not the same weight? What is it about it?
You can't open up, so it was small, steady steps. Because as soon as you start, you know, running with it, that's when it starts banging your legs and you start losing balance, based off of one weighing more than the other. So it kind of in balancing game was a huge factor.
Well, rock solid from Kevin, with our second world record of the night and the first event win of these World Tour finals.